How you doing, people? You okay? Hope for the rainbow. We out last night, giving it the clapping the heroes. I had reinforcements last night. Took the sax out to play over the rainbow. Joined by the wonderful Jacob Smith from down the road on his tuba. Man, that's a big horn, the tuba. I had to get my chair. Nice feeling. And we're up and running the weekend. The weekend has started. It actually starts at 6 o'clock when my mate Fizzmeister, father of Jacob, joins me for a virtual beer. And he deserved his. He'd run about 4,000 miles. I didn't really deserve mine, but it was good anyway. And it marked the start of the weekend. Brilliant. You been all right? What kind of a day have you? I've had a funny old day and had a few false starts. My fingers are like sausages, and I kept on hitting the wrong button on the computer, as you may have realised, some of you. Sorry about that. Sally's okay, still battling the rat, doing some nice baking. And I think Joe's okay. He just keeps eating more and more and more. It's more like a chow down than a lockdown. So I did a little haiku about how much he's eating, because we're in a haiku world. I can't stop coming up with haikus, and you lot can't stop sending me haikus, which is brilliant. So I've got a haiku about Joseph and his eating. Right, here we go. Eating like a horse. He'd eat a horse if he could. Hungry at 16. Well, it's not as good as yours, but there you go. And yes, his birthday, a week today. So lockdown birthday, isolated birthday. 17. Flipping heck. And I told you a little while ago he was making visors on his 3D printer. Well, nobody wants them anymore because the supply is catching up now, isn't it? So he actually, because I told you about the hens. In between here and the house, we have a bunch of hens, and a lot of them are bantams. And those eggs are quite tiny. So he's actually made a little bantam egg holder to go in the fridge. So he's so useful, that boy. I just sent me a message. It's quitting his job. Well, I'll have to be really nice to him. I'll get him a pint of Guinness later. Oh, thanks, Nicholas. Thank you very much. So I did a radio interview earlier on. I had a lovely old chat to Carla Green at Radio Lincolnshire. Normally I'd bomb down the A15 to go and do that, but of course we did it from our isolated spots. Well, I think she was in the studio by the sound of it. But I was down the shed here, but that was nice. And I've been planting potatoes in the field, just over there. I could take you and show you if the camera wasn't held statically by gaffer tape and elastic bands. One day, when we get more confident with the setup, I'll show you around. And it was nice. That seemed like something normal that potatoes were being planted. I don't know. Yeah. That guy who came in the other day and played some baritone sax, he's been in again. See if I can find him for you. Where is he? Where is he? Hey, yeah, all right, mate. Yeah. Got the isolation blues. I got the isolation blues. I've lost the right to choose now. I've got the isolation blues. But there is still so much to lose. Yeah. Got the isolation blues. You're not alone. Isolation blues. I've got the isolation blues. Go on, son. I've lost the right to choose. I've got the isolation blues. But there is still so much to lose. I've got the isolation blues. It's a bit silly, really. Good fun, though. The other guy's better looking than me. So, hi, Katsu, if you're able to watch, I hope so. And Daryl, Mandy, Tilly, I don't know if you're out there, but you did threaten to be. And a big thank you to Barbara and Gordon, Judith Barton, Jean Haig, Paul and Janet Shawcross, and PJ Whitby and DJ Matthews, I was trying to say that, all been showering me with money. Dosh in the collection box. Completely optional, by the way, and there's no obligation. And, you know, I don't want you to feel like you've snuck in through the fire exit. It's a free service. I was going to play a tune called Dragonfly. I've been trawling through the vaults again. It's a tune that I do with students quite often. You know that I persecute the students every Sunday. at 11 in the morning. We have a saxophone workshop right here. And it's a tune which came out on the Talking Bird CD, and then I've really enjoyed using it with students along the way. It's like many of my tunes, it's not too hard. So there's a bunch of different backing tracks kicking around, and some of them have got different forms and different speeds. We'll have a go at this one, and see if I get to the end at the same time as the boys in the computer. Give it a try. Dragonfly. Dragonfly. Sometimes when I'm out there gazing in my pond, confusing the newts, I see dragonfly larvae. You know what they look like? It's quite fierce-looking creatures they are. And a few weeks' time there'll be dragonflies being born and emerging from the pond. It'll be great. There was a very cool little frog in there today. My frog. So I said, "All right, mate, how you doing?" Got a little picture of him somewhere. There he is. It's very cool. He just stayed there for ages. Not shy at all, just kind of looking at me. And that kind of drifty album that I've just brought out, Time Stands Still, it was going to be called Frog on a Lily Pad. It's hard to say that. Frog on a Lily Pad. Failed again. Lily. Hey, that's your fault, Alex. That was a kind of working title. So I used to come in here to compose and practice and record, and quite often there'd be a frog just chilling out there. I'd do loads of work, I'd practice, warm up, get another couple of saxes out, work on a tune, and I'd look out and he'd still be there. I thought, who's the smart guy here? Me or that frog? Frog on a lily pad. But people thought it was a bit confusing as a title. Did it really convey relaxation and calm and peace? Maybe not. Poor old frog. Hey, Judy and David, are you out there isolating in the marmalade paradise of Danby in North Yorkshire? There's friends of mine up there, and I was telling you about that crazy gig, Auckland and back for an hour. They had a similar one right at the beginning of lockdown. Was it South Africa or somewhere? Got all the way there and then got sent all the way back again because of the situation that we're in. You're getting, you managing to get all the food that you need and all that kind of thing. There seems to be a bit of ebb and flow, doesn't there? Loo rolls are in stock again, but tomato puree is hard to come by. And so is fresh ginger. But, thankfully, Doc's beers and Ribblesdale cheeses, they're available. That's not isolation, that's nisolation. The essentials. Let me see who's with me and who's against me. Frog stands still. I like that. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, good way to finish the week. That sounds like you've been working. You're one of the few that are still out there doing a proper job. Oh, thanks, Craig. So Sue, somebody's commented. Sue's commenting on the backdrop. Yeah, I just thought I'd have a move around a bit. I was a little bit cramped in the corner. I was just over there, and like I said, me and Joe kind of set it up pretty quick, and I just felt I was a bit cramped in the corner. So I thought I'd move out into the room, see how it feels. All right, so far. Oh, there's millions of you. Hi, Mary. Hi, Ian. Hi, Christine. Duncan the Sax Mad Dentist. Joe Preston. Joe, I don't think you've missed a single show, have you? This is show number 21. You get a long service badge. Oh, great, man. John Morton, representing Scotland. No, it's not until next week. The birthday boy. Hi, Sharon. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Hi, Sue. Oh, a lot of my regulars are back. The Reverend Danny. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Hello, Celia. Thanks for writing. You wrote a lovely letter to Radio Lincolnshire. That's very kind of you. I love my audience. You're all very, 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 very welcome. How many beers have I had? Bit of jazz, something swingy, maybe. So Craig suggested this. He didn't actually request it. I think he was more or less saying, if you're stuck for something to do that Tuxedo Junction. So I will. See how it goes. What key is it in? C, I think. wee finger clicking, schmoozing round at the lounge. It's a good tune. Duke Ellington, is it? I don't know. I don't really play much jazz. It's a good swingy old thingy. So a little bit of feedback offline about you enjoyed the stories about the worst or weirdest or most awful gig ever. Those kind of stories that us musicians share with each other in those dead times when we're waiting for something to happen between the sound check and the gig, in the bus on the way to the gig, all those kind of things. And so I got started. I told you about that one where I had to go to Auckland in New Zealand. Well, I didn't have to. I could have said no. My mate Paul Birchall is always trying to teach me to say no. Mind you, he was on the same gig. So we got seduced by money, I guess. Or more likely a commitment to our job. So we went to Auckland in New Zealand to play an hour's music after dinner for like a corporate do for Arab Emirates Airlines. And you know what happens? In retrospect, I didn't realise this until I got quite old, but when they're shipping musicians around the world, it's no different from any other cargo or freight. And somebody in an office somewhere just kind of works out the cheapest way to get us lot from A to B. Like we're flight cased. Man, I think it was nearly 40 hours there and then an hour's music, quick sleep, and then exactly the same on the way back. Anyway, I've mentioned that. And so I thought of some more. And I told you how horrible that was and how ill we all felt. It's the equivalent of the complete circumference of the earth for an hour, isn't it? But it occurred to me thinking about it this week since I was talking about it. Apart from the fact of what it did to us, what did it do to the planet? Flying a whole band around the world. Could have got some local guys. Must be somebody in Auckland that plays the sax. So I don't know. It's got me thinking what we're going through now. I'm going to try and be a bit more earth-loving in future. And because it doesn't seem so bad, so evil if you fly to Japan and then do 30 gigs for a couple of months. But no, I'll never do that again, what I did there in Auckland. So the journeys are sometimes horrible or ridiculously long. You know, we've all been stuck in airport lounges and we've all been stuck on the M25, even if we're not musicians. And I think it's slightly better these days with sat-nav to actually find the gig, but that used to be a problem in itself. You know, you'd get to Cardiff, but then you couldn't find whatever it was you were looking for. And then sometimes even when you find the venue, you can't find, you know, the way in or the stage door or which part of the building, the complex you're supposed to be in. And one of my favourite stories ever was a friend of mine from South Wales. Maybe he should remain nameless. I don't know. I'm not going to incriminate anybody. And, you know, old school style, sometimes if you're doing a corporate gig, you'd go along with your instruments. You'd already be dressed for the gig. So if it's a corporate thing, you might probably be in your dinner suit. This is the old days. This is retro. This is old school. So indeed, my two friends, tenor sax and keyboards, it was a big hotel complex. They hadn't been before and they were booked to play after the dinner, you know, like before. So it was already dark when they got there. No sound check or anything. And so we'll call him Dave. And we'll call the other guy Adrian. So he said, Dave, go and have a look at, Adrian was driving. He said, Dave, go and have a look and see if you can find out where we are. where we need to drop the gear off. And I'm laughing. It's one of my favourite stories. And so Dave, he tried this wandle and he walked in and it was almost pitch black. Next minute he's in the swimming pool up to there. They had a cover on and he just walked straight into it. So he came out. They said to the guy, it's not in there. And he was soaked from head to foot. And I'll speed the story up. So, they had rooms for the night. So he went up to the room and there was a trouser press. So he had an hour or so and he took each item of his clothing off and tried to dry it out in the trouser press. Meanwhile, the other guy sat in the bar with a pint just laughing. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, I would have loved to be there. Another tune. Let's have, I think Andy Britton requested this one. And a lot of you will know this. And we put it on the first classic sax solos CD. It's called the Harlem Nocturne. Need to switch saxophones. And once again, I found Raiding the Vaults. And I was explaining, with forcibly isolated. So the lads said, yeah, if you can find any backing tracks, just play away, use them. So I found a backing track for this. But I never heard it before. And the first 25 seconds is them messing about, deciding how to start it. So we don't want to hear that bit, do we, really? This is the Harlem Nocturne. So I need to swish it on to about 20 seconds in. Yeah, that'll do. The Harlem Nocturne. Oh, yeah. Have you finished, lads? Yeah. Still talking. The outtakes, like the Trogs. So, I'll just see if there's any urgent banter, and then could be Haiku o'clock. Good day, John. Yeah, I'm still in the shed. Ah, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Sandhouse Man. And thank you for putting me right earlier on. Ah, there's millions of you. Superb. No, I think I can carry on. All the comments are reasonable. Nobody's telling me to get a proper job yet. You might be thinking it. So it must be Haiku o'clock. What have we got? Oh, is Anne-Marie in Plymouth? This is her first one. A lot of people are trying it for the first time. Yeah. Reminiscence, soul. Snake brings back good memories from my loving heart. Yes. Lovely. I was thinking about Plymouth the other day. Some nice gigs down there. It's a long way though. That's a long journey. See, once again, you wouldn't want to go there just for the one gig. Part of the art of gigging is at least making sure that you got something in Bristol on the way back. Now, Wednesday morning, I turned my phone on and straight away 2 fresh haikus waiting for me, like precious gifts placed under the tree or eggs in the nesting box. This is from a friend of mine who's a doctor, Sally, and it's on a doctor's theme here. And now I hope you don't mind, Sally, I've reversed your line 2 and your line 3. And this is referring to a show we did, last Saturday, I think? Whenever, anyway. Birchie popped his head up. So, Doctor's Lockdown. Snake and Birchie reunited. Blue dispelled. And as there was a doctor in the house, have you found that you're, I'm sure I'm washing my hands less. I kind of think I'm relaxing too much. Don't know about you. So I'm going to start washing them more again and make absolutely sure that we keep the 2 meters going and stay safe. Hey! That's always happening. I'm wrecking my headphones. Mind you, they're wrecked anyway. And there was another one that came in. Oh yeah, from my lovely brother, my little brother. About that big. Lives in Harrogate. And he wanted to get in on the act. Or he couldn't help himself. I don't know. So he was obviously looking at one of the streaming shows from the very beginning. So here we go. Trees blow in the wind. Snake blows in the garden shed. Equilibrium. Oh, smart cookie. Like that one. So I dug out a couple of my favourite Basho ones again, which I've probably told you before, but weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of lockdown ago. So Samidara ni tsuru no ashi mijikaku ni narere. In the summer rains, the legs of the stork get shorter. And then one for my frog, my frog. This is a very, very famous one. Furi ikeya kawatsu tobimoru mitsu no oto. An old pond, a frog jumps in, the sound of water. I haven't heard any frog splashes yet this year though. But it's quite early in the frog season, isn't it? Yeah. I've got. I did a Japanese one, but I'm going to save it for Sunday because I can't find it. Well, let me see. Where are you? Konbanwa, Michael. Lincoln is good. Yeah, Lincoln. Oh yeah, Lincoln is good. Lincoln is close. Close is good. Andy Britton was there. I'm always worried, when somebody requests a song or tune, piece of music. I do it halfway through. I'm thinking, I wonder if they're actually listening. So, Andy, I'm really glad that you're listening. And Andy went even further back and requested a tune called Dog Rough, which is definitely not available anymore. I don't even know which album it was on. But I kind of had a quick listen today, and maybe I'll give it a try. Dog Rough. I never was good at titles. Any chance I'll pick up the pieces one night? It's a great idea. I'd need a track to do that. I couldn't do it a cappella, so to speak, with no clothes on. Great tune, Average White Band, pick up the pieces. Yeah, Molly Duncan on the tenor sax. Did I promise that we'd have a look round the shed? Okay, honestly, we will. We will. So I've got things plugged into everything. I'll have to work out. Actually, Joe will have to work out how I could kind of switch the camera onto the phone or something. Then we could all walk around together, couldn't we? But at the moment, it's a step too far. So you've seen all the outside with Joe's different intro pieces. Okay, I found a track to play, a tune which I really have a nostalgic, lovely feeling for and about. It's a tune called Recoil, which first appeared, well, I think it only appeared on the Snakebite CD, which is way back when dinosaurs were roaming the earth. Myself and good friend Will Mowat, and we wrote and produced this one together. And I found a track for it, back on the tenor sax. Cheers. Kampai. I thought it might be a good one to finish with. It's a nice groovy thing, so, if you've finished your dinner, then have a little sway, get up on your feet. Why not? We've got to keep dancing, even though we're not socializing. Dancing is good. Keep singing. And the weekend is up and running. I hope I'll see some of you tomorrow night. I was thinking when I was talking to Carla at Radio Lincolnshire today, doing these shows from the studio, from the garden, is a little bit like doing radio. Because I know you're there. I can feel you. I can feel your warmth and your presence, and see your chat. Hello, Lindsay from Chorleywood. But I can't actually physically see you and touch you. I wouldn't be allowed to touch you anyway. Physically distancing. So this is a bit like radio. But, it's great that you're here. And I really enjoy playing for you. So, back to my tracks page. Here's Recoil. The Recoil. Oh, enjoyed that. Guys, been fantastic. Thanks for being here and staying with me. Danny Ruffles, the lasso apso isn't keen. Yep, see you tomorrow again. Sue's bopping with Sally and Andrea. Hope so. Yeah. Hi, Andrea. Oh, stranger, we miss you. How weird. Hi, Judith. Dog Ruff is a great tune. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Thanks for being here, guys. Stay safe, be kind to each other. Wash your hands. I have to wash my hands more. Make them sore again. Really look forward to seeing you tomorrow, I hope.